Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me today. We are going to practice writing low so on the music staff. So, what I want you to do now is make sure you've got your pencil, your paper, and your lapboard ready to go. If you need to pause this video, go ahead and do so now. All right, let's take a look at number one. On number one, we'll notice that the do clef is on that second line right here. Go ahead and trace your do clef now. And as you're doing so, we know that when the do clef is on the second line, it tells me that do also goes on the second line because the do clef always tells me where to put do. So do is here. That means that when I'm writing low so, I must go a leap below do. A leap is much farther than a step, and it's a little farther than a skip. It's the biggest interval in music that we know. I want to show you a trick to being able to put a leap on the step easily. So I just need to count to 4. Starting on do, I'll count to 1, 2, 3, and 4. Line is 1, space is 2, 3, and 4. Go ahead and trace do and low so now. While you're doing so, I can also point out that it's another easy way to tell from do to so is if I can think about low la. Low la is just a skip below do. So I've got to skip over this space and go to the line. And I know low so is just a step below. So you can also do that. So do is on a line. Low la would be on this line because I skip over the space. And then low so would just be a step below it. Let's do the counting method again to get to our do over here. So we count so is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Go ahead and make sure you've got everything traced here. If you want to write in those numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, if that will help you, you may do so as well. Now, on this one right here, if you need to pause the video to catch up, go ahead and do so. On this one right here, we'll notice that the do clef is moved so much higher up. So that means our do starts way higher. Let's go ahead and trace the do clef and trace our 2 do's that are in space number 1, 2, 3. Space number 3. Now from do to low la, I have a skip. So when I've got a skip, all I have to do is skip over the thing that is right next to the do. The thing that's right next to the do is a line. So I'm going to skip over that line and put low la in the space below. Now spaces, there's also a number trick. For skips, there's also a number trick. For skips, all I have to do is count to 3. So starting on do, here's 1, line is 2, and low la is 3. That's another easy way to tell skips. Here's 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and trace all of these below. Low la to low so is easy peasy because it's just a step. You go down to the next thing. If you need to pause the video to catch up, you may do so now. On our next one, you'll notice that the do clef moves back to the second line, so it tells me that do goes on the second line. Now, we need to figure out the missing solfa letters below. So, what I want to do is remember, if I've got do to so, I've got a leap. So, we're going to count to 4 and figure out if this is low so down here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Since it was 4, this would be low so. If I only counted to 3, it would be low la. Now we know that the do clef tells me where to put do, so I also know if, hey, the do clef's on the second line, this pitch is also do. So go ahead and fill in a do here. And we know that if it's in the same exact space, it's going to be the same exact pitch, but let's count down to 4 anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go ahead and write low so in those spaces. Now we are going to do the next one. The do clef is here on the second space this time. It's moved everything up just a little bit. So low so starts on the first line. Remember, from so to la, I have a step. So you just go up to the next thing. From la to do, I have a skip. So I've got to skip over something. And then do, re, and mi, they're just steps. So you go to the next thing up. You can also count to 3 from la to do. You can also see that do must go on the second space. Go ahead and work on this last one by yourself. Have a great rest of class, guys.